Welcome into First Pitch, WagerTalk's premier MLB betting show. I'm Drew Martin, your host, joined by Marco D'Angelo and Dave Koken of WagerTalk.com. Guys, we're talking 4 games on tonight, Thursday slate. We got best bets at the end, plus best bet in Asian baseball. But first up here, Marco D'Angelo making his first appearance of the MLB season. Excited to have you here, Marco. Welcome in. Happy Thursday morning to you.
I guess Thursdays must be Senior Citizen Day at Wager Talk that brought me and Dave in together here. We got quite a few years combined between the two of us, Drew, and I'm looking forward to breaking down some baseball.
Still many years ahead for both of you, and the wisdom is appreciated from me, and I know it is from a lot of the watchers as well. And second up here, Dave Koken. Welcome in, buddy. Good to have you again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And I'll add something that Marco didn't say is that we think you're a rotten kid, Drew.
Well, I'm not a kid anymore, Dave. I mean, I'm learning from you. I'm learning from Marco.
Well,
I'm starting to hit a couple winners.
Sure.
You know,
Easy for you to say. I'm not a kid anymore. Okay. But the upside is I got my shot before you.
Oh yeah, no, and it's good to have you. Are you fully vaccinated here, Dave?
I will be as of next week. 1 week from today. I had to actually delay my first one because that was my scheduled appointment. It's going to sound stupid, but if you're a pet owner, you'll know what I mean. The first one, unfortunately, my little buddy got very sick that day, and I had to go to the vet. So the animal comes in front of me because that's what you have to do. But I'm caught up now, and he's still okay.
Okay. Well, good to hear, Dave. And guys, hopefully we get you on the right side of some of these night games tonight. We got 4 of them. We're breaking down first, starting off 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific here, Marco. We got Arizona and Washington, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. This one on MLB Network. We're seeing Merrill Kelly and Patrick Corbin. He's commanding a minus 165, minus 170 price tag, depending where you're shopping here. Are you interested in getting involved with the D-backs and Nationals tonight, Marco?
Well, I definitely don't want any part of Washington at this number, being the way they're playing right now, and they're coming back from a long road trip. They went out to L.A. for a set of 3 games, and then they went to St. Louis. And they're just not playing good baseball. This is a team just 3 wins on the season so far. But for them, they are facing a team that's not playing good baseball as well, and that's Arizona. The D-backs, man, they're getting trounced as far as giving up runs. This is a team that has allowed 6 runs or more in 8 of their 12 games this year. So looks like you would go with an auto on the over involving Arizona, but as I look a little deeper in this game, I find a couple angles that has me a little hesitant on that. We do have Pat Corbin on the mound. You would expect a good outing out of him. He was sharp in his first outing. I take that back, was not sharp in his first outing back on the 10th when he gave up 6 runs. Generally, when you get good pitchers, veteran pitchers, off of a performance bad like that, they bounce back with a good one. So I expect him to rebound, and he's facing his team that he played his career with, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly, he's the guy that's the X factor here. You look at him, and this will be the first time that he has faced Washington, so give him an edge there. But again, that pitching staff for Arizona has not been good. If you want to take the under, you're going to have to hold your breath to do it. But I will give you a stat on the under. Arizona, when they play on the road the last 2 seasons, and you're looking at a total between 8.5 and 10 where we are tonight, they're 15-4 to the under. So the slightest of leans to Arizona and maybe a little peek at the under.
Okay, peek towards the under here, Dave. We also got some wind blowing in from center field in our nation's capital. It looks like 10 to 15 miles an hour before the show started here, Dave. But interested in your take here, D-backs and Nationals.
Yeah, the weather's a little bit of a concern, but there's some disturbing numbers as far as the starting pitchers are concerned. Merrill Kelly, he's been a hard hit guy since he arrived came back from Asia, and it's been worse to start this season. I mean, you're looking at a 47+% hard hit percentage. That's exit velocity of 95 miles an hour or more on batted balls. That's not good. I don't care if the wind's blowing in or not. If guys are barreling the baseball, you're going to get runs. And he just hasn't been sharp. He's not missing any bats. There's just a bunch of stuff that's negative on Kelly. Corbin's interesting because he was a very good pitcher. You could argue a borderline #1 starter, but he was not good last season. Now you could attribute that maybe to not having his usual routine because they didn't start the season until mid-season, basically. But he has not been sharp to start this season. He wasn't real good in spring training and just got absolutely clobbered in his first start. And it wasn't fluky either. I mean, 53.8% hard hit percentage. His walk rate was up. It might just be that he's reached the point where he's now a diminishing return type of pitcher where he's just not what he used to be, in which case you could see some numbers against him. So I tend to think that you might see some runs in this game. The bullpens are tough to handicap. And they're both, as far as key, Arizona didn't play yesterday, so their bullpen's fresh. And Washington did, but their key guys didn't work. So they're fresh. To me, it's more a starting pitcher thing. I would look at the over in the first 5 here.
Okay, look towards the over. I also have both of these bullpens ranked, middle to kind of bottom middle here in MLB, at least out the gate. So that might point towards the over as well. 3 games left here, guys. Next game up here, Dave, 7:10 Eastern, 4:10 Pacific, first pitch. Texas Rangers, Tampa Bay Rays. We got a total of 8.5 here, depending where you're shopping. And the Rays, heavy favorites here, -180, -185. Rich Hill versus Jordan Lyles, the lefty-righty. First pitchers here, Dave. What are you thinking as the Rangers visit the Rays in Tampa, Florida?
Lyle's a little bit of a surprise so far, but I don't think that'll last. There's nothing to indicate that Jordan Lyles is anything more than a very back end of the rotation starter who's probably better suited for long relief. Rich Hill is still Rich Hill. Look, if he's commanding his stuff, he's still very tough because that curveball is just lethal. I mean, it breaks so much. It's really tough to barrel his pitches. Now you never know with Hill because he can lose his command and his velocity is such that he can't fool anybody when that happens. So he'll often have games where he looks real good and then he'll have one bad inning where they get 3 or 4 runs off him. So that's a little difficult. Also, the Rays are just not playing real good baseball right now, and I think that's a little steep for them, even against the Rangers. But Texas is a team that I'm very low on. I don't think it's a good squad in any aspect, really. I don't think they pitch well. I don't think they hit well. They're just a team that I look to play against. I just can't do it in this spot because the price is a little bit too rich for me. But I really don't want any part of the Rangers.
Okay. And Marco, coming to you here. I mean, I was looking towards the over. I have both of these bullpens, bottom 10 out the gate here. Rich Hill throwing, 88, 89 miles per hour. I know Texas, their lineup isn't anything special here, Marco, but sitting at 8 you can find out there in the marketplace. I was looking towards the over, but how are you looking to bet Rangers and Rays tonight?
Well, to build on a couple things that, Dave said, start with Jordan Lyles. His first outing was very good. He went into the 6th inning and allowed only 2 runs and had 8 strikeouts and no walks, total command of his pitches in that game. Then he comes back in the next game and only 1 strikeout. And, to me, when you get a pitcher, obviously when it's a high strikeout, he's got command of all of his pitches and he's fooling the hitters, but he wasn't fooling anybody in that last outing. So now which Jordan Lyles are we going to get tonight? Now, Tampa, if anybody can figure them out so far this season, I would like to sit down, buy them a drink, and have them explain it to me because this team has been all over the place. They opened the season, play their in-state rival Miami, play a couple good games. Then they get swept by the Red Sox. And the Red Sox, I think, held them to 2 runs or less in 2 of the 3 games. Then they come back and play the Yankees, and they play lights out against the Yankees. And then now back to Texas. They're struggling against Texas and scored just 2 runs in 2 of the 3 games so far against them. Is it that World Series hangover effect coming off, losing the World Series last year, that you're getting the inconsistency with this team? With that said, I can't lay a big number with a team until they start to show me some consistency. I will say this much. Texas on the road, when the total is 8.5 or less, going back to last season, Drew, 3-17, just a horrible number for the Rangers. So, for me, it would be Tampa or pass. I am going to pass at this price.
Okay, good stuff there, Marco. Nice stat. And guys, make sure to check out Marco D'Angelo at WagerTalk.com. He's really hot right now. NHL and NBA. Seen it very clearly in both sports. 19-3 NBA winning streak the last 22, and 18-5 the last 23 in the NHL. And Marco, what do you got here? You got a rest of the year for only less than $3.30 a day. That's a heck of a deal there, Marco.
Yeah, you can check it out over at Wager Talk, running a special. Guys, knock on wood, 2021 has been good. January and February was real good. I hit a little patch the last week of February and first week of May or March there. But we're back on track, guys, just rolling right now. And I got one play up tonight. It is a hockey play. It is my NHL game of the week. You can head over to Wager Talk, pick that up by itself for $25, or check out one of those long-term packages. Save yourself some money.
Yeah, 365 days for $3.28 a day. Marco D'Angelo, WagerTalk.com. We also got Dave Koch in here, #1 in MLB last season. I think #1 out the gate this season, Dave. You're seeing it clearly. Next game up, we got the Toronto Blue Jays, Kansas City Royals. Looks like Junis to be determined is the pitcher here for Toronto. Total of 9. We are seeing some early indication numbers here, Dave. -135 towards the Blue Jays. It's almost a handicapping angle in itself with the pitcher to be determined, because you might be able to get an edge up here, Dave, but I'll throw it over to you.
I must be seeing something different than you are, because the only spot I'm seeing right now is the Westgate has the game pick 'em -105 either way. They have dime lines there, which, by the way, if you're visiting Vegas, not to plug one book over the other, but I mean, if you're betting baseball, dime lines are the way to go, and they happen to have them. It's unknown who's pitching for Toronto, but the speculation is it could be lefty Anthony Kay, who gets the start, in which case he would be basically an opener, or it could be the very sharp one, Tanner Roark, who they've taken out of the rotation at this point, but they might have to stick him back in because they're shorthanded. And Toronto's shorthanded in the bullpen as well. Merriweather went on the DL or IL. So there's some problems as far as the pitching goes with Toronto. Junis is on the mound for the Royals. I think you can chalk this up to somewhat of an aberration. He was tremendous in his first start. He's just not that good a pitcher. But the Royals are playing good ball. And I think they're one of only 2 teams so far who have yet to lose a series. So they're off to a very good start, and maybe a little ahead of schedule. This is a rebuilding team, but the rebuild might be going on a little faster than expected. They look pretty good right now. The Blue Jays, they're a solid team. I don't think there's much question about that. They're going to hit, but the pitching is extremely questionable. And if it's Roark on the mound, I might have to get involved in this game. He's an absolute fade at this point. He's just not very good. In his best days, he was an innings eater. Guy get out there 5 or 6 innings, 2, 3, 4 runs. He'd get by, keep you in the game. But last year he was horrible, and his early going this year, it's obviously a very small sample, but it was really bad. He looks like a guy who is probably at this point not a major league pitcher. So if we get word that it's Roark later on, you might want to take a shot at the Royals here.
Okay, good stuff there, Dave. And Marco, coming to you, just to clarify on these numbers, looks like we did have FanDuel having Toronto -135 favorites earlier in the day with a total of 9. But like Dave talked about here, with action guys being as the pitcher, so it really doesn't matter who's starting. It is -105 on each side with my Westgate app here, Marco, with a total of 9, but -105 at Westgate each side, Marco.
Yeah, I think that original number that we saw, the 135, Drew, I think that would have been if they had went with the original scheduled starter, which was Matt's, but he's not going, and obviously Toronto would be much more attractive. Toronto's been a surprise this year to me in some regards, and where it's been is been the starting pitching. They've played 12 games so far. This team has allowed 3 runs or less in 7 of the 12 games. I wouldn't have expected that coming into the season. Now, as far as Junis goes for Kansas City, Dave is correct. He's been a disappointment. Now, when he came up, there were high hopes for this kid. He never lived up to them, but his first outing was good. He actually was only supposed to go 3 innings in that outing, but he was so efficient with his pitches in that outing that he, on 58 pitches, I believe was his pitch count, he got them through 5 innings. So maybe he's found something, coming into the spring training this year, coming back on, normal, as Dave alluded to in one of the earlier games. Last year, guys that started the season slow, a lot of people like to keep track of, what we call April starters and so forth. Different guys have always started better or slower for whatever reason. Last year was an anomaly in the way that the season went. So maybe we'll see some better consistency from some of these starting pitchers. So right now, for me, I would have to stay with Jake Junis if I was going to go, but I want to know who's on the mound. And I agree wholeheartedly with Dave. If it is Tanner Rourke, it slides the advantages to Kansas City immensely. And what else it would slide the advantages to is looking at this game over, or if Tanner Rourke is in there and he's not the starter and you're doing in-game wagering, Drew, if the first guy gives up, a run or so, if they go with the bullpen by committee type approach, and you see Tanner Rourke trotting out as the second guy out of the thing, I'm jumping in live betting. And, if they're, gave up 2 quick runs, this might be one of those ones that get out of hand in a hurry. And then you have, because of the pitching situation with Toronto, that they leave somebody for the sacrificial lamb. And that's something you really like to look at if you're talking in-game wagering.
No, that's a good point there, Marco. And in talking, in-game wagering, just kind of fade Rourke there. I like that angle. But I do have a question for you, Marco, in terms of, some sports books being listed pitchers, some sports books being action, in terms of it doesn't matter if this starting pitcher, goes or not, your bet is locked in. Do you think, because I personally feel that that's an advantage for the sports bettor, because if you're taking a shot at a big underdog, you want to go as action. Whereas if you're going to go with a favorite, maybe go more listed, especially if the starting pitcher is the main reason for the bet. But do you normally go listed or action? Last year and this year.
What I do is, if it is a team that is using the conventional style of approach to games where they have a starter, I do definitely go listed. If it's a team that is known to do the bullpen by committee, and a lot of times they make the decision at the last minute which guy they're starting with and which guy they're sending out second, then I want to go with action play, because the last thing you want is them to switch you up. You're expecting somebody else to start and they make the switch on you, but the guy that you were going to go with, he comes in a second inning and he's in there for the next 3 innings, and you lost your, you didn't lose the wager, but the wager's canceled if you did specified pitchers. So in that instance, so that I do get action, I go with just general action on those ones. And those are teams,
okay.
Always. Tampa Bay was, the team that started all of this. That first year, it was like I had so many wagers that, were no bets. You look at if I'm out at dinner and you don't see who actually started the game and you got a first 5-inning wager, and, we cashed it. And then I look at the box score. Oh, I didn't get paid. This got canceled because they changed the pitcher on me.
It varies from one game to the next. I mean, if you're betting on, let's just say, since you were talking Tampa, if you make a bet on the Rays in a game that Tyler Glasnow is scheduled to start, you better list the pitchers. Because if Glasnow's not going, you got a problem. But in a lot of games, if that's not your approach to the game where you're doing more team stuff, just let the action bet go. And and just take it from there. So look, different books have different rules. Find the one that applies to your preference, deciding on based on what game you're betting, and this is why you should have more than one out. Have as many as you can.
Absolutely, Dave. Good words of advice there, guys. We got one more game, Best Bets at the end. We're actually, because Best Bets is going to be involved with the other game on the late night slate that we weren't going to hit. We are going to hit all the night games on the slate for tonight, guys. Marco, coming back to you here, we got the Detroit Tigers and Oakland A's, 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 Pacific first pitch here. Scooble versus Sean Manaea, -165 favorites here. The A's are 8.5 beating the total. This one out in Oakland. Marco, you interested in getting involved in the second to last game going off tonight?
Well, the Tigers, what a surprise. They go into Houston and sweep the Astros. Maybe it was a little bit of a hangover effect with the Astros after having that very satisfying opening week sweep of the A's in Oakland. Then they come back and the A's got a little bit of revenge when they came and visited Houston. Houston didn't play well against the Tigers. But I'm looking at this A's team, and they're returning home from a road trip. And anybody that's followed me for a long time knows that I like to look to find spots to fade those teams returning home. This isn't going to be one of them, and I'll tell you why. If the A's were going to have a letdown, they would have had a little bit of a letdown after the Houston series when they went to Arizona. That was a very satisfying series for them against Houston. Houston embarrassed them at home that opening week. So they kept their focus and went and took care of business against Arizona. Now, maybe that might be more of a statement of how bad Arizona is to the character of Oakland. But returning home, because they were so ugly in that first homestand, I think the A's are going to play a big game tonight. And the fact the A's had a day off. It's not like they came home, they played yesterday and returned home today. So they did have a day to get home, get acclimated to everything they had to take care of at home. And the pitching matchup, I do like it for Oakland. This is one of those ones. I'm going to take a play out of my buddy Dave Koken's playbook, and we're going to go, split play in this game. I'll go money line and run line with Oakland, bringing my costs down on the play overall. But I do like the Oakland A's here. I'd also give a little bit of a look to the under first 5.5. Manaea's pitched well so far. I like him coming off a strong outing. Go ahead and look at Oakland under first 5, and full game, do the split money line, run line.
The old money line, run line split there from Marco D'Angelo. Dave, what are you thinking here, Detroit and Oakland?
Well, the Tigers are feeling it right now. They're swinging the bats well. And I said this on Wager Talk today earlier, talking about the Tigers. Miguel Cabrera's going to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best hitters I've ever seen. But right now, at this point in his career, they're better without him. He's just not very good anymore. He doesn't hit for power. They leave him in the 3 hole, which is ridiculous. And, he's not going to win any gold gloves at this point either. So the fact that he's on the injured list actually kind of strengthened their lineup. Sad to see the old guys decline, but it happens. And it really looks like it's happening in a big way with Cabrera. It has for a couple of years now. As for the pitching, look, Oakland should be able to get to Scooble. He's got a lot of promise. There's no question about that. But right now he's going through one of those things those patches that young pitchers go through, which is command issues. He's not throwing the ball where he wants to. The balls look like balls. The strikes look like strikes. You want the opposite. You want the strikes to look like balls. You want your balls to look like strikes. And this is creating some problems for him. Manaea's just a guy I'm not all that high on. He's still, look, he's going to go out there and give you the occasional really good game. But I've got him as no better than a number 3 starter, and mid 3 at that. I've never been as big on Manaea as a lot of the experts, if you want to put that in quotes. The way the Tigers are swinging the bats, I guess I'm a little opposite here. I don't like either bullpen. I think you're going to get some runs in this game. They might not all come early, but I think at some point you're going to get runs in this game, and I lean over in the Detroit-Oakland game.
I'm with you, Dave. And plus, I add on to that, guys, it looks like 10 miles per hour projected winds here out towards center field in Oakland.
That doesn't matter much at night. The ball doesn't. The ball just doesn't carry in that ballpark at night. It really does during the day. So the wind is, but 10 miles an hour isn't going to do much either way. But it doesn't hurt. Okay, it's not a negative.
No, just a little cherry on top there towards your over, Dave. But guys, we got best bets coming up. But first, wanted to head out and give you a little action here in the overnights. The Japanese baseball quick pick play of the day from Tokyo Brandon here at WagerTalk.com. Quick video here, guys, with his best bet.
Tokyo Brandon with Thursday night's Japanese baseball quick pick. Fujinami and the Hanshin Tigers welcome the Yakult Swallows and Ishikawa to the mecca of Japanese baseball stadiums, Koshien Stadium in Osaka, Japan. Yakult has two good hitters, but Ishikawa is making his first start of the year, and he's on the wrong side of 38 years old. Fujinami starts for Hanshin. He's been really solid this season. He's not the best pitcher at home, but against Yakult, he had a 0.69 whip in 2020. I think Hanshin will take care of business here. Bet Hanshin Tigers on the money line, the run line, the three-way money line, any way you can get them. And I'll be back with more, guys. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Tokyo Brandon. Guys, time for...
Yeah, we'll mention the hockey is up like 50 units for the season net. So you'd get everything I've got for the 30 days, even my golf plays, which have done pretty good this year. Best bet, Detroit Oakland over. Game we just talked about. I think eventually you're going to get runs in this game, especially with the fact that you've got, and I know bullpens are extremely erratic, so you can go out there and get 4 scoreless innings from each team out of the bullpen. But the likelihood is it won't be that way. These are 2 bullpens that I think would qualify as pretty shaky. So you could see some late runs in this game, even if the starting pitching is good. So I'll go Tigers and A's to go over the total.
Tigers, A's over the total. Marco D'Angelo, WagerTalk.com. Guys, we talked about it. NHL, NBA, huge runs right now. Check him out. You can get that same 30-day, or he's got 365 days for less than $3.30 a day. Handicapper page, WagerTalk.com. Marco D'Angelo. Marco, where are you going for best bets, buddy?
I'm going to the same game as Dave, but I'm going to go with the Oakland A's and do that old run line, money line split here. And this will bode well for Dave and the over. You look at the Oakland A's, they're returning home. They are pounding the baseball. In those last 4 wins, they scored 6, 7, 9, and 7 runs. I'm hoping the pitching is a little better in this homestand for Oakland. If you look at the first 5 games at home this year for the Oakland A's, they gave up 8 runs or more in all of those first 5 games. As the Astros must have been getting the pitching signs. I don't know if they would still do that stuff or not, but they lit them up in that first series. I look for the A's to get the job done, split it up, go run line, go money line, bring that cost down a little bit, but I do like Oakland for a big win tonight.
All right, good stuff, Marco. And guys, to finish it off here, best bets, I'm going with a big underdog in the nightcap, 10-10 Eastern. Colorado Rockies, LA Dodgers, Urias versus Gomber, 2 lefties going at it. The Dodgers actually haven't seen lefties very well out the gate. Now we're asking them to lay minus 270 here. I think that's a little too pricey, guys. Urias just threw 95 pitches just 5 days ago. Plus the fact the Dodgers in a look-ahead spot here. They're playing the San Diego Padres this upcoming weekend. So, Padres, Dodgers kind of 1 and 2 there in the NL West. I think they have a little look ahead here. And with the Dodgers not really smashing lefties, I think the 27-year-old from FAU is going to have a little bit of success here and a puncher's chance at covering this number and winning the game, which, at a big plus price here for the Rockies. My numbers are a little off from the market. So I'm going with the Rockies, huge plus price here as the play of the day, guys. As you can see it there. Dave Koken, Tigers Athletics over 8.5. We got Marco D'Angelo, Athletics minus 180, and Athletics minus 1.5 run line. Tokyo Brandon, Tigers minus 190, and I am on the Rockies. Huge plus price here, guys, as the underdog. For Marco D'Angelo, Dave Koken, I am Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please smash the like button on your way out. If you're watching on replay, that's cool as well. Feel free to leave a comment below. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Best of luck with your bets until then, guys.